Today I'm going to go over my top 10 picks for the best sounding Dolby Atmos mixes for 2024. If you're wondering where's DTS, well, there was nothing that came out that was good in DTS:X, so that's why this list is only Dolby Atmos. Now these are 4K movies that released in 2024 only and nothing earlier. And remember, this is for audio only. It doesn't matter if the movie sucks because it can still sound awesome. With that being said, let's kick off the list at number 10 with Abigail. I gave this a 9 for audio because it delivered on a truly atmospheric experience with a fully dynamic mix. Now because it is a horror movie, it relies heavily on subtle effects. The few standouts are Abigail munching on, I think, are rats in the background off camera, the windows closing above your head in the top channels, which creates this sensation of elevated heights, and Abigail's voice bouncing through different speakers. There's a few more aggressive surround moments in the movie, but it's the little quieter effects that really ups the horror factor. Even if you're not a horror fan, it's worth a watch just for the audio. In at number 9 is Joker Folie à Deux. I gave this a 9 for audio, not because it was such a great musical, which I think is one of the weaker aspects of the movie, but just like Abigail, the soundstage opens up to really capture every location a particular scene takes place in. When scenes are happening in Arkham Asylum, there are things happening off screen like people talking or footsteps that really do capture the confined space. And even though the musical bits weren't fantastic, they sounded fantastic with a huge, spatially detailed soundstage. The only thing missing from the mix is better bass response. Despite the critical panning, I enjoyed the movie as much as the first one, and I think it's a must-own. Next up is Boy Kills World. I gave this one a 9.5 for audio. I'm pretty sure not too many of you saw this movie, but it's got a wild Atmos mix for a wild action flick. Every action scene is full of effects buzzing through all your available speakers, so bullets and bodies go flying everywhere. The inner monologue effect places Boy's voice in the top channels to give you that in-your-head feeling. So if you're an action movie junkie, Boy Kills World should be in your collection. In at number 7 is Godzilla Minus One. I gave this one a 9.6 for its audio mix. I would have thought Godzilla X Kong would have outperformed this one because it was such a bigger budget movie, but Minus One stomps all over it. So bigger isn't always better. Ladies, it's not an over-the-top surround extravaganza like Boy Kills World, but it does have its moments. The atomic breath scene is easily the best sounding part of this movie, where he goes all Oppenheimer on Japan. The explosion engulfs your speakers with debris flying past your ears, with one of the heaviest bass drops on this list. There are a couple other nice action scenes in the movie, while the rest is really subtle effects to capture the on-screen environments. If you don't mind reading subtitles, Minus One is a winner. Up next at number 6 is 1996's Twister. I gave this one a 9.6 for its new audio mix, and it really does improve on the already killer 5.1 channel mix found on the Blu-ray. There's more wind and debris flying around your room during the tornado scenes, and the flying cow sounds even more convincing when it flies around your head. It may not be a true dynamic mix, but it's still aggressive nonetheless. If you are one of those guys that think that the original mix should never be upgraded for Atmos or altered in any way, then maybe get yourself a better speaker setup, because this new mix is fire, a must-have. Coming in at number 5 is Smile 2. This one gets a 9.7 for another stellar horror movie Atmos mix. It's the ambiance and subtlety that amp up this audio mix. It starts off with one of the most detailed sounding openings on this list that will make your walls disappear audibly, placing you outside. The bass is absolutely booming, with music and creepy effects blanketing your walls and ceiling. It's full of creepy surround effects with a full-blown, full-on dynamic mix, with maybe the best sounding bass response in this list. If you're a horror fan, then this needs to be in your collection. At number 4 is Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. This one gets a 9.9 for its juiced up Atmos mix. It's not all just about the action, but it starts off with an outside scene that immerses you with really subtle atmospherics that places you outside in the woods. And of course, the action is full of chaos, with cars blowing up, engines roaring through the subwoofer with bass that hits hard. The volume does need to be turned up a few dB, but I didn't think that it hindered the experience. Other than that, This is a knockout mix and worth owning if you need demo material. Now the top 3 could really be in any order, but I'm gonna go with a classic, which is even better if you can watch it in 3D with Atmos. It's the re-release of Gravity on Blu-ray. I gave this one a 10 for its perfect Atmos mix. The placement of voices through the different speakers at the beginning of the movie is still demo, which I use today. There's voices that are coming directly behind your head, in the upper top right middle channel, and just about anywhere you might have a speaker. It's both subtle in delivery and crazy bombastic when things get hectic. The bass is deep and intense, and it's an overall reference quality mix. If you don't already own it, pick it up now. And yes, I do know that it's not in 4K, but still, it's so good that I'm glad that everyone can pick it up in Atmos. Pick it up now. Up next at number 2, I have Dune 2. This also got a 10 for audio. If you're gonna demo your surround sound setup, you're probably gonna put on the worm scene. It's one of the hardest hitting scenes in this list with aggressive surround usage that covers you in all directions. There's a lot of atmospheric moments with fireworks blowing up outside of Elvis's house, with another standout score that's equally as detailed as the first movie. It's got that big, cinematic, grandiose sound that deserves to be heard on a full Atmos setup. And my number 1 pick for the best sounding movie of 2024 is Alien Romulus. It's got that grandiose, wide soundstage that Dune 2 has by capturing the planet's atmospheric scale at the start of the movie. You've got ships passing through the top channels with heavy machinery in the lower half, and there's also a scene where the facehuggers are running around off camera, which is subtle yet creepy. And of course, all of the action scenes with machine guns blasting away aliens running through the surround channels is all demo material. The bass digs low, hits hard, and is an overall reference quality mix. It's a definite must-have for anyone who has an Atmos setup. Now I do have one honorable mention. I had originally given this movie a 9.8 for audio, but on subsequent viewings I did notice that the movie was mixed at a much lower volume than everything else on this list. Some folks may think it sounds flat, and sure, I can see that, but once I turned it up to my reference level, the audio rocks. It's the quasi-sequel to Twister, it's Twisters. This has a fully dynamic mix that will send your home into a full 360-degree swirling frenzy of wind and debris. The bass totally slams in my theater, and everyone I've had in my theater thought it was incredibly immersive and engaging. It's a fun mix for a fun movie, and worth a pickup if you have a semi-capable home theater. Well, those are my top 10 picks for the best sounding movies of 2024. If you're gonna say my picks suck because the movie sucks,
shut your mouth.
I'm sorry? What did you just say?
You're just coming off stupid.
It's only about the audio. Now, if you do want to grab anything on this list, I will leave some links for them down below in this video's description. So what's on your top 10 list for the best sounding movies of 2024? Leave a comment down below and let me know. Thanks for watching, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.